Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. René Auberjonois. René Murat Auberjonois is a Swiss-American actor and singer. In films, Auberjonois has portrayed Father Mulcahy in MASH and Chef Lewis in The Little Mermaid, in which he sang Les Poissons. In the American animated musical comedy film Cats Don't Dance, Auberjonois lent his voice as Flanagan, the human film director of Little Ark Angel. In various long-running television series, Auberjonois portrayed a number of characters, including Clayton Endicott III on Benson on Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and Paul Lewiston on Boston Legal. Early life. Auberjonois was born in New York City, New York. His father, Swiss-born Fernand Auberjonois, was a Cold War-era foreign correspondent and Pulitzer Prize-nominated writer. His paternal grandfather, also named René Auberjonois, was a Swiss post-impressionist painter. His mother, Laurie-Louise Napoleon Eugenie Caroline Murat, was a great-great-granddaughter of Joachim Murat, one of Napoleon's marshals and King of Naples during the First French Empire, and his wife Caroline Bonaparte, Napoleon's youngest sister. His maternal grandmother, Eileen MacDonald Stallo, was an American from Cincinnati, Ohio. His maternal grandfather's mother was a Russian noblewoman, Eudoxia Mishailovna Asimova, and his maternal grandfather's paternal grandmother, Caroline Georgina Fraser, who was married to Prince Napoleon Lucien Charles Murat, was an American from Charleston, South Carolina. Auberjonois has a sister and a brother and two half-sisters from his mother's first marriage. His family moved to Paris, France after World War II, where at an early age he decided to become an actor. After a few years in France, the family moved back to the United States and joined an artists' colony in Rockland County, New York, whose residents included Burgess Meredith, John Houseman, and Helen Hayes. The Auberjonois family also lived in London, United Kingdom, where Auberjonois completed high school while studying theatre. To complete his education, he attended and graduated from the Carnegie Institute of Technology in 1962. Theatre. After college, Auberjonois worked with several different theatre companies, beginning at the prestigious Arena Stage in Washington, D.C., and then he traveled between Los Angeles, California and New York, working in numerous theatre productions. He helped found the American Conservatory Theatre in San Francisco, the Mark Taper Forum in Los Angeles, and the Brooklyn Academy of Music Repertory Company in New York. He was a member of the Peninsula Players Summer Theatre program during the 1962 season. In 1968, Auberjonois landed a role on Broadway and appeared in 3 plays simultaneously, as Fool to Lee Jacobs, King Lear as Ned in A Cry of Players, and as Marco in Fire. In 1969, he earned a Tony Award for his performance as Sebastian Bay alongside Katharine Hepburn in Coco. He received Tony nominations for his roles in Neil Simon's The Good Doctor opposite Christopher Plummer, as the Duke in Big River, winning a Drama Desk Award, and memorably as Buddy Fiddler, Irwin S. Irving in City of Angels, written by Larry Gelbart and Cy Coleman. Other Broadway appearances include Malvolio in Twelfth Night, Scapin in Tricks, Mr. Sansa in Metamorphosis, Professor Abroncius in Dance of the Vampires, the English-language version of Jim Steinman's musical adaptation of Tanz der Vampire, and Jethro Crouch in Sly Fox, for which he was nominated for an Outer Critics Circle Award. Auberjonois has appeared many times at the Mark Taper Forum, notably as Malvolio in Twelfth Night, and as Stanislavski and Chekhov in Yalta. As a member of the Second Drama Quartet, he toured with Ed Asner, Diane Wiest and Harris Yulin. He appeared in the Tom Stoppard and Andre Previn work, Every Good Boy Deserves Favor at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., and the Metropolitan Opera in New York. Auberjonois has directed many theatrical productions, and has starred in the Washington, D.C. production of 12 Angry Men, where he portrayed juror to Roy Scheider's and Robert Prosky's. He made his debut at the Shakespeare Theatre Company in Washington, D.C., as the titular character in Molière's The Imaginary Invalid through July 27, 2008. Auberjonois was on the advisory board of Sci-Fest, the first annual Los Angeles science fiction one-act play festival held in May 2014. Films. After MASH, Auberjonois' film roles included The Gangster Tony in Police Academy 5, Assignment Miami Beach, and Reverend Oliver in The Patriot. He has made of cameo appearances in a number of films, including Dr. Burton, a mental asylum doctor patterned after Tim Burton in Batman Forever, and a bird expert who gradually transforms into a bird in Robert Altman's 1970 film Brewster McCloud. He appeared as Colonel West in the 1991 Star Trek film Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country. Other notable film appearances have included McCabe, The Hindenburg King Kong, The Big Bus Eyes of Laura Mars, Where the Buffalo Roam, Walker, My Best Friend is a Vampire, The Feud, Inspector Gadget, and Eulogy. Auberjonois portrayed the character of Straight Hollander in the 1993 Miramax film The Ballad of Little Joe. He voiced Professor Genius in Little Nemo, Adventures in Slumberland, Louis the Chef in the first and second Little Mermaid films, Flanagan in Cats Don't Dance, the butler in Joseph, King of Dreams, and the concierge in Planes, Fire. Voice acting. Auberjonois has been active in radio drama. He read The Stunt by Mordecai Strigler for the NPR series Jewish Stories from the Old World to the New, and he has recorded novels on tape. On Pre, he has been featured numerous times on selected shorts, reading works of dramatic fiction. His voice was heard in Disney's The Little Mermaid, and as the skull in The Last Unicorn. He did voice work on the Challenge of the GoBots series in 1980s as Dr. Braxis. He was the voice of Peter Parker on the 1972 Buddha Records Spider-Man LP From Beyond the Grave, a radio-style narrative replete with sound effects and rock and roll song interludes provided by the Web Spinners, in which the characters of the Vulture, the Lizard, the Green Goblin, the Kingpin, Aunt May and Doctor Strange appeared. In 1984-85 he lent his voice to Desard, an associate of the villainous Darkseid on the animated series Super Friends. From 1986-87, he voiced Alvinar in the cartoons series Wildfire. He also provided the voice of Professor Genius in Little Nemo, Adventures in Slumberland. He provided the voice for Janos Audron, an ancient vampire in the Legacy of Kain video game series. He was in Soul Reaver 2 Blood Omen 2, and Legacy of Kain: Defiance. He provided the voice of Angler in the Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End video game. He voice-played General Zod in the Joseph Ruby Kenneth Spears animated Superman series episode titled The Hunter. Auberjonois provided minor character voices for Justice League, reprising his role as Desard in parts such as 2003's In Blackest Night as Kanjuro, a pirate testifying in the trial of the Green Lantern, and as a fellow member of the Green Lantern Corps in other episodes. In 2003, he provided the voice of Katori in the English-dubbed version of semi-sequel to the Hayao Miyazaki film Whisper of the Heart: The Cat Returns. He reprised an animated version of his character Odo from Star Trek Deep Space Nine in a cutaway joke in Family Guy's Stewie Griffin: The Untold Story. The cutaway featured a more humanoid-faced Odo threatening Stewie's alleged cousin Clark Griffin. Auberjonois also lent his voice to Skylanders Superchargers. In 2011, he voiced villain Mark Desmond in Cartoon Network's Young Justice, is the voice of Leonard McLeish in the Pound Puppies series, and is the current voice of Pepe Le Pew in the Looney Tunes show in 2011. Azimuth in Ben 10 Omniverse and Ebony Maw in Avengers Assemble. Video games. One of Auberjonois' earliest forays into video game voice acting was the role of Janos Audron in Soul Reaver 2. He continued to voice the character in subsequent releases in the Legacy of Kain series. According to a behind-the-scenes featurette in Soul Reaver 2, showing candid discussions among the voice actors during recording, he was surprised at the quality of the writing, asking this is for a video game, when the purpose of the recordings was brought to light. More recently, Auberjonois provided the voice of Karl Schaefer, the honorable German explorer in the video game Uncharted 2, Among Thieves and Mr. House, the reclusive New Vegas casino owner in the 2010 video game Fallout: New Vegas. He also voices Dr. Ignacio Mobius in Command & Conquer: Renegade. He reprised his role as Odo in the game Star Trek: Deep Space Nine: The Fallen. Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Would you like to know more?